Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination, because we've got it coming to you wall to wall, and we got some echo. I hope you're ready for some going on, because I did a rookie mistake over here. We've got it coming to you wall. Sorry, I'm all excited. We got Dave Weiss on tonight, and I always get kind of giggly when David's on because he's one of my favorite guys, and he talks about one of my favorite subjects. So you'll have to forgive me a little bit. We got David Weiss on tonight from deep inside the rabbit hole. DITRH is the, I believe, still YouTube channel, and we'll let David give you all this contact information as well. Just some quick housekeeping before I jump in. We had to reschedule the meetup in Branson. It will not be tomorrow night at 2 or tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. We'll get more into what happened, but it was a mistake I made with the new trailer, so we won't be there until July the 9th. So abort. Don't go to Branson tomorrow. Well, you can still go to Branson tomorrow, but we won't be there. As you can see, the wall's coming along. We just got to get it lit properly, and we got some oddness with the lighting here too, but hey, we're going to do all that we can to do all that we can. And if you'll remember, you used to hear back in the day, for those of you that have been watching this channel for a while, well, before we got thrown off of YouTube, and we're back on YouTube, so David, we'll have to make sure we stay within YouTube guidelines, which you obviously are better at doing than I am. But we're going to be on YouTube tonight as long as we can. And if you remember in the older days with me, that I used to do videos against Flat Earth. And then I ran across David Weiss and Crow and a couple other people. And I began to decide that if you're going to preach unindoctrinate yourself, you better unindoctrinate yourself. And with that in mind, we're going to welcome in to the program, the D program, because that's what we do here, D programs, the one, the only, the man, the myth. He needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized world. He is David Weiss.
Jeff, thanks for having me. I can't believe we're on YouTube. This is good. I'll watch what I say. We won't talk any real truths, really harsh truths other than flat Earth. And,
exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
But David, I have a question for you first. I was surveying through your channel again today, and I saw something on there about there's no forests on planet Earth. Is that true?
It talks about the ancient trees that were here that were giant. You know, when I walk through the woods now and I see all these rock formations, I realized that they were trees.
Yes, I happen to agree with you. And I just had somebody's here visiting that was supposed to be in Branson. So we said, no, come over here. They were kind of joking, but I guess there's this lore out there too that there's really no birds, David. They're all just drones. Because, you know, the dinosaurs weren't real. The dinosaurs turned into birds. There's no birds, just drones.
I don't believe that. I mean, I believe there are bird drones, but there's plenty of real birds out there.
Really are.
There's a video series that came out that everyone's freaking out over. It's called The History of Flat Earth, and I have it linked in the app for those of you that can't find it because it keeps getting deleted from YouTube. So I've got it. It seems to be stable, and anybody that watches that, it will blow their minds. It's a 5-hour video. Now, I hate sending people an hour video. It's like, oh, it's an hour. It's like, I'm very concerned about time. My videos are all under 5 minutes, right? But it's 7 parts in the 5 hours. I say, just watch one part and then, you know, take a day off and watch the next part. And the same thing happens every single time. They watch one part and they can't turn it off. They watch all 5 hours and then they watch it again. Okay. So it will blow you away. You watch it, you're going to invite me right back on. You're going to I have to talk about this. I need to talk about this with somebody. Mind-blowing flat Earth information. What's that? It's called The History of Flat Earth. It's by a guy named Ewar, E-W-A-R, but his channel keeps getting deleted. I have it mirrored on my channel, and it seems to be stable there. So it's in the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and it's right on the web. If you hit the web button, it's in the More Resources area, and you'll see it right in the center of that page. It will blow your mind.
Sorry, David. Tell us about the Flat Earth app. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the Flat Earth, it's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's a way to get by Google censorship. It shows you what the flat Earth is. It shows you how the model works. But one of the most important things it does is it bypasses YouTube's algorithm. People say, I looked into flat Earth. I Googled it. Well, you Google it, you're going to end up at the Flat Earth Society. You're going to end up seeing a pancake Earth floating in space. Nobody believes that stuff. That's all to capture weak minds. You could spend, like you said, I'm going to research this 10 hours a day for 2 weeks. You're going to find a couple hours of good content if you're lucky. The app bypasses that. Every day there's a featured video. There's frequently asked questions. All the questions you could ask, they're all there, and all of the answers are there in video format, which people seem to like. So I have a challenge for everybody. I'm offering 2 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. All you got to do is watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. And then before you send me your question, make sure it's not in the FAQ section, because it is. And within that period of time, you'll be a flat earther.
That's amazing stuff. And David, we've got a Flat Earth conference coming up in September, right?
And you're coming. I heard in South Carolina, flatearthfestivals.com.
I'm going to be there.
This is going to be great. We're looking forward to it. We have to have dinner together. Make sure you get there a day early or so, right?
Will do. Okay. Now, Dave, again, I'm a guy that didn't even think about the flat Earth. When I did think of it, I thought about it with derision. But when I opened my mind and decided, you know what, if you're going to say unindoctrinate yourself, then you actually have to do what you say. And I started to actually think about it. And we're on FCC radio, so we have to make sure that we don't cuss. And we're open to a brand new audience. And maybe some of these people still think like I thought, flat Earth is ridiculous. How can these 2 guys that look like they're fairly intelligent be talking about flat Earth? If you would, David, take the con and just walk us through as much as you can through this idea of coming from believing that we live on a spinning ball because everybody believes it and you're stupid if you don't, and get us to the place where we might at least be willing to look at some observational data and not worship everybody that wears a white coat. We don't worship the white collars anymore so much, but the white coats, they're still the oracles.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. And by the way, everyone has the same reaction. When I heard about flat Earth, I had the same reaction you did. You're an idiot. And I banned people from our social media for even discussing it, even suggesting that I waste my time watching a 1-minute video, which I wouldn't even do. But then I was forced to look. And just like you're willing to change your mind based on new information. A lot of people aren't, which is a problem. And the thing is, we're called crazy because we think the Earth is flat. But when we talk to these people that call us crazy, I say, we ask a couple questions. We have Austin, who's our friend, Wits It Gets It YouTube channel. He's traveling the whole United States. He's been out for 5 months doing a tour where he goes out and he preaches on his soapbox on boardwalks and in Union Square in the city the other day. He's at Niagara Falls today. And he preaches flat Earth. And then people...
David, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Because it is so odd that you say that, because in fact, we were just driving today in the car, having to go get a new hitch, which is a long story. But I saw an old tent. I thought it was like a gospel tent, but it was just a fireworks tent. That's what I used to do back when I was an evangelist. We'd go set up a tent. I used to have the Jeffery Daugherty Sidewalk Crusade. And I've been thinking about doing that. Do you think that is viable to do in this day and age, like your buddy that you're talking about?
Well, it depends on your time and the audience you reach. Like I do my thing on the internet. He's been doing his thing. It's reaching lots of people. Somebody reached me and turned me into this, right? So you don't know. You got to let the universe tell you where to go. So if that feels like the right thing to do it. But Austin's out there and he does this great thing, and I've kind of adopted it. When someone says you're crazy and say, okay, I've got $100 for you if you can answer 3 simple questions from about your globe. And the first one is, how many times does the Earth spin in a day? And half the people get that wrong. It spins once. And then the next question is, what's the diameter? What's the circumference? How far is the sun? They don't know any of them. They don't know anything, but they think we're crazy. We know about their model, and what they know about our model is nonsense. They believe that, we're a pancake floating in space that's moving up at 9.8 meters per second. If that's what the flat Earth was, yeah, I'm crazy. That's not what the flat Earth is. Nobody believes that's what the flat Earth is. It's only globers that think flat earthers think that. So what is the flat Earth, right? We're more of a pond on a Earth plane, right? So think of the Earth as the basement of the universe, and we're a pond within that plane, within that level plain, hills and valleys. Yeah. And we live in the Antarctic basin. The edge of our pond is not the edge of a disc. It's just the edge of the pond. And Antarctica is the edge of that pond. It's the land that surrounds our water. It is the container for our water. It is the tub for our bath, right? You need a container for water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, period. Okay. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Don't give me the eyedropper of water as a sphere or raindrop or a wave bending water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, and water needs a container. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. What's beyond Antarctica? We don't know. It's off limits. No one's allowed to go there because of the Antarctic Treaty. We send balloons up to 120,000 feet. There's no curvature. It's flat, right? We look at their nonsense cartoons. The question is, when were you introduced to the globe, and did they show you anything other than cartoons? The answer is before you can talk, and no, they only showed you cartoons. This is the blue marble that was on everyone's iPhone. This is a couple years later. Do you see a problem? Do you see a problem? Jeff, do you see a problem? You see a problem. Are you still there, Jeff?
I do see a big problem because it looks like North America has been taking Viagra.
Yeah, it's been eating McDonald's, eating a lot of McDonald's, I think.
Right.
There's all the photos. There's no NASA. Go look on their website. Try to find a photograph. You'll find an image, you'll find a picture, but they will never use the word photograph because they don't want to be caught lying. Right.
And David, I have to say thank you to Paige, Liberty for All. She just gave an $11 super chat. She says it's $10 from her and $1 from you. So thanks very
much. So original she is, huh?
She's the best. Her and Alex Stein's mom are my biggest fans.
Wow, look at that. It's a small group. Alex Stein's mom is a fan of yours and mine, I believe.
How about that? I think she said I'm sexier, though, David.
Yeah, I think I heard that, too.
But Paige is with you all day long on that one, so.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. All good. So the heliocentric model, we're corkscrewing through space, right? Like NASA says, check this out. This is how NASA says they know the distance to a distant star. Okay. They say, let's say in January, they could look at two stars that are in line with each other and they know one's farther than the other. I don't know how they know that. And then 6 months later, when we're on the other side of the Earth, on the other side of the sun, not 186 million miles on the other side, they could look at the parallax and it changes a little bit. And so they can do their math and they say, oh, that one's farther because of the parallax. Are they forgetting that the Earth moved 4.5 billion miles also, let alone the 186 million? It moved over 4.5 billion miles chasing the sun. There's no parallax from that. Somehow every day, every year, the stars reset. You go to the Georgia Guidestones, you look at this little hole right here. You look through it, there's the North Star. It never moves. It's been up for over 40 years. We are corkscrewing through space in 4 different directions at once, and the North Star never moves. That's a problem. That's a huge problem.
David, how do people that insist that we live on a spinning ball explain these things when you bring them out to them?
Yeah, they explained it. They go, it's so far away that there's no parallax. Is that ridiculous? It's so far away that all of this time, it's never moved. Okay? They say, well, there was a different North Star 40,000 years ago. It was Thuban. Like, okay. So 40,000 years ago, it was Thuban. Then it migrated all the way over to Polaris. And so for the 38,000 years in between, there was no North Star. And we just happen to live here when there's a North Star. They're building the pyramids still line up with the same stars. What's moving? All of the stars are spinning around within the Earth system. This is the only reason people don't believe in flat Earth is because they refuse to look and they're stubborn little bitches. You called me a bitch the other day, by the way. Am I allowed to say that on the radio? You did. Because I was complaining. I was trying to get you to use Zoom and you wouldn't use it. And you called me a little whitey bitch.
Right. I was just totally joking with you.
All right.
And I guess we're not supposed to say that, but we won't say it anymore.
All right. I won't say it anymore on terrestrial radio.
I was totally joking because I know you want to use Zoom and I use StreamYard.
I get it.
But David, I'm going to OBS tomorrow, so we won't have that argument anymore.
That's exciting.
And I really appreciate you coming on, David. I know we joke a lot and we go back.
I love coming on with you. You're one of my favorite shows to go on.
favorite dudes. You really are.
Thank you. Your show. I love. I'm not even going to say that I agree with you because I don't have to say that. I love that you are preaching what you believe and you are letting other people see the contrast. I think that the Christians that get upset with you need you. They need to be able to deal with someone like you because if they're so set in their beliefs, you shouldn't be a problem at all.
And right back at you, David Weiss.
Yeah. So I'm all for contrast. Contrast makes the world fantastic. All right.
We learn.
Yeah, you learn with contrast. You don't know what you want until you know what you don't want.
Right.
Right. That's how the world works. So where was I? Okay. One of the other things, because I'm limited on what I can show here, is flight routes.
He's on StreamYard and not on Zoom.
Flight routes from Buenos Aires to Perth, Australia. FlightAware says this is the quickest route, but why can't we fly over Antarctica? Because we can't disturb the penguins. 1959, they came up with that rule before environmentalism was even a word. So maybe they can just fly around Antarctica. You know, it's too dangerous. You crash in Antarctica, the rescue missions. I mean, like what? You know, they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So that would be the shortest route possible, but that's not the route that they go. Here's the route that they go. Perth. They can either go to Europe, Singapore, and Perth, or more often they go this way. They stop in Miami or Houston, then again in LA, then again in Sydney, and over. It takes like 26 or 29 hours. Why don't they just cut across the bottom of the ball? Why don't they cut across the bottom of the ball? And the answer is because the earth is flat. There is no bottom of a ball. Jeff, here's how, you know, the mainstream science, you know, Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, and Bill and Neil deGrasse Tyson, the failed actor, they go out of their way doing show after show after show, making fun of flat earthers, straw manning us, you know, just giving us just basically lighting us up, and they will never talk to us because they can't. Because if they talk to us direct, we can completely destroy them. But I have a way to end it in one day. One day. You fly to the base in Antarctica, two big planes, fill them with teachers, scientists, flat earthers, globers, whatever you want. And then one plane just skims the coast around and goes this way, like 1,000 feet in the air. So everyone can always see the coast. You can see how fast you're flying. Like you're not in a plane that's going 3,000 miles an hour. You're like, all right, I've been in a plane before. This looks like 500 miles an hour. And you verify all this and you just go around. And the other one goes this way. And 6,500 miles later, because this is 13,000 miles around, the plane should meet, which should be like 12 hours or 14 hours later. The planes should meet over here. But they don't, because they can't, because this isn't the way the world is set up. This is a map. I'm going to show you a map with, ignore that line. This is the route. Captain Cook tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, and it took him 3.5 years, and he went over 60,000 miles. Okay. You have to remember the equator is right here. It's 24,900 miles around. And if you went to the bottom of a ball, it should get smaller. Like they tell us, you know, they tell us this is 13,000 miles around, but it's not. This is just the outside brought in, wrapped around a ball in Photoshop. And that's not how the world is. And every test, every experiment has proven it that way, but they don't want you to know that.
David Belialith asks, so why does the earth wobble?
It doesn't wobble.
It doesn't. It's not a weeble. It's an earth.
Yeah, it doesn't wobble at all. This is you can't circumnavigate. You can circumnavigate east and west. East and west are circles around the magnetic center, right? If you go outside and find a tree and say, all right, that's the North Pole, and then become a compass. You got your one arm, you make your arms at 90 degrees. You point at that tree. So that's your north needle. And now I'm pointing west, 90 degrees. I got that 90-degree turn, right? Can you see me? I don't know.
Yep, I can see you.
So I'm pointing at the tree. And so now I want to go west. I can't go in a straight line that way. I have to keep turning because my right hand has to remain pointing at that tree. West is a circle. East is a circle. South is every direction away from the center, right? Do it with a compass. Get a magnet, move a compass around. You'll see what I'm talking about. So What can't be done on a flat Earth is southern circumnavigation. Okay. So this guy, ZQ pilot, not too long ago, said he's going to fly his plane and this is the route he's going to take. And so he went from the north, he went to Alaska, California, out to here, Fiji, or whatever this is, these islands, Santiago, and then to the South Pole, so he said. And then he said, oh, the weather's too bad, I have to turn around. So he turned around and came back and went all the way up here. And we're like, oh, well, he didn't do it. You know, interesting try, but he didn't do it because he couldn't do it. And Guinness Book gave him the world record for southern circumnavigation. Okay. Does that look like southern circumnavigation? Because this is what it looks like on a flat Earth map. He went here, he touched the goalpost, and he came back. That's like me saying my straight road is a loop, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to end up over there. Okay. So I go there, I touch the end of the road, and I turn around, I go over there and go, look, I did it. I looped it. No, I didn't. I went there, I touched the goalpost, I turned around, I came back. Game over.
David M is curious about different seasons and different hemispheres, and I know you have an answer for that. And if it's on the Flat Earth app, I believe.
It actually is. Maybe I can share my screen, and I can tell you.
It would be easier if you were on Zoom right now, David.
Oh my God, it would be so much easier. Where's the share screen? I don't even see it.
It's down at the bottom. It says
there, share screen.
Share. And then I'll have to approve the share.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Share screen, and I'll describe it for the radio listeners too. All right. Okay. You got it?
You're on.
Okay. So here's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And if you look carefully, the sun should be pinned to the hour hand, but we're in fake daylight savings time right now. They want you to believe it's an hour later than it is, which is ridiculous. Imagine you had a quilt and you're like, oh, my quilt is too short. My feet are cold. So you cut off a foot at the top and sew it to the bottom of your quilt to make your sheet, make your blanket longer. It's the dumbest thing ever. All right. So the sun goes around right now. It's over that inner yellow line. There's two circles there. If you look carefully, the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. So right now, if you look, the sun is going to go right over Miami. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. It's going over Miami, Southern California, Mexico. And that's why it's so friggin' hot there, because the sun is directly over them. And then if you look at Australia, it's farther away. Australia is all the way out on the outer yellow line, which is the Tropic of Capricorn. They're having their winter. But if I migrate the sun over to December, it's over them in December. It's high in their sky. It's directly over them. They have their summer. We have our winter because the sun is farther away. Jeff, imagine you and I were sitting outside in the north. I know Canada. It's freezing cold. There's snow on the ground. We're 20 feet apart and we're freezing. Like, what are we doing sitting out here? This is ridiculous. And then somebody comes over and 10, 15 feet above you, they hold a big giant heat lamp directly over you. You're like, I can feel the heat. It's high in the sky. It's directly over you, just like the sun went over Miami a moment ago.
Yeah, and I'm looking at a restaurant with a propane heater doing the same thing.
So you got that. It's 15 feet in the sky, and it's directly over you. It's straight up for you, straight up, okay? I'm looking over at it. I'm 20 feet away. It's lower in the sky for me. It's farther away. I can barely feel the heat. It's lower in the sky, just like our winter sun. And then if I move the light over, someone moved the light over, it's same height, and now it's over me. Now it's up here for me, straight up. And then you look at it, it's lower in the sky, right? It's farther away. That's how seasons work. Seasons make 0 sense on a globe Earth. 0
and
sense.
Thank you to Scott for the $20 tip over on Rockfin. We appreciate you very, very much.
Real quick, and then I'll get out of the app. Here's the challenge. Every day there's a new video in the bottom left corner. Today it says Flat Earth proof number 10. Watch that video every day for 2 weeks. Different video every day. Super interesting. Worst case scenario is you have a good time watching these videos. At the end of the 2 weeks, if you think that the Earth is still a globe, and you have a proof, before you send it to me, hit the question mark and up come all of the questions. What about eclipses? What about gravity? What about seasons, which I just explained? If you hit what about eclipses, up comes a playlist that Google doesn't want you to see. They don't want you to see these videos because this might tip you off on who you are, where you are, what you are, and why the hell you're here. They don't want you to know that because they want you being a good little slave and living in their prison for your mind, which is the globe Earth. If you hit the web button, up comes this more resources page right in the center. There's the video I was telling you about, the playlist. It's the History of Flat Earth by E. Warrenon. Best mind-blowing You will literally lose your mind if you watch that.
I wrote it down.
Yeah. And then second from the left on the top is interviews. That's where this interview will be, and it'll be there. There's a list of all the interviews I've done. All sorts of stuff. Books, right? 16 emergency landings that prove flat Earth. Amazing. They all make perfect sense. I think I said that already. And you can watch. You can order some books, great gifts, good for yourself. And I recommend books because when all of this stuff goes down, books are going to be the only source of information there is.
That's a great point, David. And Rabbits Warren is asking, is the edge a wall of ice like Antarctica?
I will describe that in 1 second. This is just some sponsors I have, but on the bottom, boom, Flattoberfest.
Boom.
Get your tickets right there, right? And it's such a great time with people there. You're gonna have such a good time. And I'm looking forward to it.
So my wife says to me, "Why do you want to go there? Don't you have enough people hating you on the internet?"
Nah, you're gonna make so many friends. Jeff, the Christians are gonna love you. They are. If they don't, they have a problem.
I'm a lovable guy.
Yeah. So here's the compass. Look, this is how north is at the center. It's the magnetic center. And east and west are circles around it. South is every direction away from the center, right? Shows you how that works. I have tons of resources here. Like my favorite is the moon lander. Look at that. If you had to order parts for this, and I say you need to get all of the parts from one location, are you going to call the Craft Gallery or Lockheed Martin? Right? Look at this. What is this made out of? Paper mache, tin foil, duct tape, scotch tape, curtain rods. This is ridiculous. They want us to believe they went to the moon in this thing.
It's just amazing.
It's a joke. Amazing. It's a complete and total joke. They want us to believe this is going on. This is us, right? We are orbiting there. If you look up, if you look up, it's called the hypersonic sled. And it shows us this thing going on this railroad track going by at 8.6 Mach 8.6. It goes by so fast, it's like unbelievable. And you have to believe that we're orbiting at 10 times that speed. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's so ridiculous. Tons of stuff, tons of resources, and that's how you stop sharing screen. That's how you become a flat earther.
David, why do people have this idea still? Someone in the chat room is asking, how come you don't fall off the edge? Why is that idea still out there?
Because it's brainwashed. People have been brainwashed into believing something that is not the case at all. You know what? Let me just go back because I have more images here. I'm just going to jump back into the app just to answer that and the ice wall question.
Okay, great. So
share screen. Window. Here we go. All right. So share. All right. Allow me to share. And so back here. So why can't you fall off the flat Earth? Because we're not a disk floating in space. We're more of a pond. Here it is. So here's the Earth, right? The water surrounds the islands, and all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica. So when you sail to the edge of a lake, can you fall off the lake? No, you can step off the lake onto the land and you could walk outwards. What's going out there? Well, we don't know because no one's allowed to go. There's no independent exploration of Antarctica. Admiral Byrd flew out there in the 1950s, said there's land bigger than the United States that no human has ever set eyes upon that is filled with resources. Meanwhile, all these wars are happening, fighting for resources, and they signed the Antarctic Treaty saying that nobody is allowed to independently explore Antarctica. Right? Does that make any sense?
Did I tell you my extremely strange Admiral Byrd story?
Do tell.
Real quickly, Cynthia's stepfather, who raised her, was Admiral Byrd's yeoman on that mission up to Antarctica. And my dad was the yeoman on the USS Henderson, the destroyer that was part of the mission to Antarctica. How crazy is that?
Did they have any good stories? Anything they saw?
Well, unfortunately, Cynthia's stepfather was a really mean, nasty drunk, and he wouldn't talk about it. And my dad, I just went to Florida for the first time to ask him about it, and he is so far into dementia. I asked him the question. He goes, "It's right there, but I just can't access it." And it's so sad. I waited too long to be able to get that wealth of information from my dad.
Yeah, it we're losing a generation, the only generation that can answer firsthand. So now it's secondhand. All the kids are brainwashed. If this thing that they're doing is successful, is correct, maybe there's going to be a grand reset, like Schwab is saying.
Well, David, Klaus. You and I and people of our age are going to have to be the resources. And thanks so much to Sarah Lena for the $20 tip on Rockfin. And go to sarahlenalove.com if you want to hear some great music and see some great inspiration.
Which one is the real Earth? I'm showing you 8 pictures of Earth. It's a trick question because they're all from NASA. Okay, they're all just paintings. They're paintings. They're nonsense. Nonsense.
And yet we believe it, David. We believe it. 99% of people believe it.
But the reason is because we're trusting people. We don't want to believe that there's going to be this much deception in the world, but there is. There's deception, on every level, and it's being exposed right now. We are in the apocalypse, which is great. The apocalypse is the lifting of the veil. It started in 2012. There was an energy shift, and people are waking up. Right? The more people that speak out, the more people are waking up. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I was talking flat Earth, immediately you would just be called a moron. Now you mention flat Earth, they go, tell me more. Right? I heard something about that, and the conversations are starting. We're reaching the tipping point with Flat Earth Awakening. Unfortunately, the elite probably realize this, and they're going to reach the tipping point, and they're going to try to flip the tables over. So we're going to see what happens there.
We are. By the way, have you heard from Chris Jericho lately?
I was just talking with Stacy. Chris was traveling. He's going on tour. Stacy's his assistant, and they're going to try to get me on again, but we're going to do a video podcast this time so I can properly flat smack him.
Excellent.
Right? He knows the Earth is flat, but he's holding his cards close to his chest.
Yeah, Chris Jericho, one of the great guys, the Talk is Jericho podcast, AEW Wrestling. David and I have had the privilege of being on his podcast. I got a chance to meet him, hang out with him. A great guy, one of the hardest working people in the entertainment business. Check him out.
Yeah, so this picture was the famous picture of Saturn. Amazing, right? This is CG. Yeah, that's from NASA. But we took it off their website, put it in Photoshop, cranked up the levels, and you could see how they put it together. It's nonsense. Okay? They didn't expect us to have Photoshop, okay, and be able to do this.
It's a filtered Photoshop deception.
Yeah, totally. There's everything they show us is nonsense. Pluto. That's actually the planet Pluto that they supposedly got this great picture of, with a spaceship that was flying by at 60,000 miles an hour with a distant sun. And they got this high res picture of Pluto where there's a desert shaped like the dog Pluto. I mean, they're mocking us on every level, Jeff.
How stupid do they think we are, David? Really? How stupid do they think we are?
So stupid that they look at us as useless eaters and they don't have any, they don't care. They think we are just animals. And you know what? With the amount of stupidity in this world, they might be slightly right. We think we're at the height of intelligence. We are one step away from Idiocracy, the documentary.
We are.
This is a map that was discovered in Hawaii, a Japanese map 10 centuries ago that shows 30 other planets. 30 other continents beyond Antarctica. Oh, getting back to Antarctica. So
before you leave that, David, you said that's a Japanese map.
It was a Japanese map, correct?
And if the Japanese are famous for anything and known for anything, it's precision.
Yeah. How about that? So can you see my mouse?
No.
Oh no, now you can see my mouse over here, right?
Yes, I can.
All right. So out here, this is the shoreline, and most of it is a high ice wall, 100, 200 feet high. That's the ice wall, not the Game of Thrones ice wall, just the shoreline to the Antarctic plain, which is way higher than the ocean. It's the highest land on Earth. They don't teach us that in school. So that's the ice wall. Game of Thrones, the main purpose of that entire series is to make people go, oh, an ice wall, like the end of the Earth, you know, because the little guy up there going, I'm going to pee off the end of the Earth, right? That's all they want to do. It's all mind control. It's not a wall. It's the shoreline of Antarctica. What's out in these outer lands? We don't know. It's off limits. Maybe there's more. Maybe go ahead.
They do have girls kissing on Game of Thrones.
They pissing off the ice wall?
No, they got girls kissing each other on Game of Thrones.
Kissing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, well, that's another reason that they made it. What's beyond Antarctica? Maybe there's more land out here, extra territory, extra terra, right?
That would be where extraterrestrials live. David Weiss, that's the extraterrestrials. Right. They're not from Uranus. They're from out there.
Right. Well, if we're in here in this inner space, where are the extraterrestrials from?
That outer space.
Outer space. Extra terra. They probably speak English. Right. Right.
Listen to these guys. Start thinking. Think of the deception. You're afraid of aliens, but they're from here.
Yeah. So I saw a meme the other day that pissed me off. It was flat earthers think that this is how America was attacked by Japan, and they had Japan's over here. They had a line that went like it was on a regular Mercator flat map, but it had it going around Africa and then around here and then all the way up. No, they just went from Japan to right out here, straight line, bam,
boom,
bam, it's right there. That's how it works. Okay, you can cross over the north, but you can't cross over the south. Okay, so you can cross over the north. It's like, so right here from West Coast, I want to travel west. I can travel west to Japan. I can travel east to Japan. It's just a little longer. I can travel north to Japan. I'm heading north, and now I'm heading south, and I'm in Japan. That would be the Great Circle Route, they call it, the shortcut. But what you can't do is head south and pop up over here and make it to Japan or anywhere. You can't go from Santiago over Antarctica and pop up over in Sydney. It doesn't work that way because the Earth is flat.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
It goes on and on and on.
Warren says, holy moly, David just blew my mind.
Yeah. Check this out. Werner von Braun, the Nazi rocket scientist from Germany that came over to run NASA. They brought over a Nazi rocket scientist because the whole space race was fake. So the entire Project Paperclip was also nonsense. He wrote a book in the 1950s called Project Mars about a bunch of people going to Mars led by a guy named Elon. What are the odds of that?
Are you serious?
And this is the picture of the rocket that's on the rock on it. This is Elon's rocket that he wants to go to Mars in. And about a month or so ago, he tweeted, I want to redesign the rocket and make it pointier.
So he wrote a book amazingly predicting that the guy's name would be Elon. And now this guy, Elon, is going to make the rocket look just like Werner von Braun's book.
Right. And that's what they always do. Arthur C. Clarke wrote about satellites. All of a sudden we have satellites. The guy that a royal guy in the 1800s wrote a paper or a book about the theorizing dinosaurs. No one had ever found any dinosaur bones ever in all of history. And then a year later to the day, he discovered the first dinosaur. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's just a coincidence, right?
It is.
Yeah. You know, here's NASA. Look at this. The SR-71 Blackbird goes a Mach 3.2. If it goes any faster, it rips apart. If you look at the front of it, you can see that it's kind of breaking. And that's when they tested it, and it couldn't go any faster. That razor blade with no paint on it, because it gets so hot, the paint would just burn off, can go, Mach 3.2. But somehow this hunk of junk, this is a balloon. Once this hunk of junk, non-aerodynamic, painted stickers, everything, can go Mach 33. Okay, 10 times faster. Does that make any sense to you?
So let me get this straight, David. The SR-71 could only go Mach 3.2. Yeah. But the space shuttle goes Mach 33.
Yeah.
Interesting number, by the way. It is so preposterous that we believe this. And one of them is not real.
Right.
Oh, that's a
NASA.
great. That's a great graphic.
NASA, they all the fake space agencies, all of them use the
Every
same
one of them,
vector
even
symbol.
Star Trek, David, even Star Trek.
They use the vector symbol. You know, if you look at do I have it here? The new Space Command, their logo has the friggin' vector in it, and it looks just like
Does.
Starfleet Command.
Yeah.
I don't have it in here.
Boom, boom,
I can add that. I gotta always keep a notepad with me. Did we talk about the Georgia Guidestones yet?
You mentioned the North Star at the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. I think I showed you that, right?
You did.
Yeah. There's what else did I have?
And you mentioned kind of offhandedly, David, that the space shuttle is a balloon, and people are like, "Oh, this guy's a nut." But if they'll go to your website, I'm sure you still have it on there about rockets that are balloons, and some of them watch the video. It'll change your mind.
NASA owns all of the largest helium, all the helium companies in the world, and they're the largest consumer of helium in the world. Okay,
wait a minute. NASA's the largest consumer of helium in the world.
Absolutely, 100%, and they own all of the major helium companies.
Wow!
And so this big red tank. This thing is a Macy's Day Parade balloon. Okay. The entire shuttle, no human ever goes on this thing, right? This is also a blow up balloon. These side thrusters, they have a little bit of thrust to them, but they're mostly just a light show. This thing goes up. It rolls over upside down. Remember when the first time it went off, they go, it's supposed to roll on its back. The reason it rolls on its back is because the orange tank is lighter than the rest of it. So it rolls over on its back and then it goes down range and they show a close up. And if you look at the smoke coming off of it, if you look at things carefully, you can see that things may be going 50 miles an hour. Okay. It's not going 17,000 miles an hour. And when these two external thrusters break off, there's like an explosive charge. They break off. You can see it and hear it at the same time, even though this thing is 30 miles downrange. If it was only 20 miles downrange, it would take 90 seconds for that sound to come back after you saw it, just like thunder and lightning. 90 seconds, but they show it at the same time. If you just Google space shuttle rocket launch, there's so many edits and cuts. They make it look like the people are right there, but they're over 11 miles away. 11 miles away. The space shuttle is tiny.
One of your most powerful videos, David, I think, is when you show that big orange tank
falling from the sky.
Supposed to be super heavy, and it's floating like it's a balloon.
40,000 pounds, and it's being filmed from the window of the shuttle, which is on its way to space. So that thing's going over 17,000 miles an hour and up, and it's filming it for like a couple of minutes, and it's not falling. And then we watch in it. If you watch carefully, there's a little like piece of tissue blows by, which shows you how fast this thing's moving. It's not moving at all. It's barely moving at all.
And yet,
crazy.
We're the crazy ones.
Yeah, we're the crazy ones. The Earth is corkscrewing through space, like I showed you before, and all of these satellites are just falling around the Earth perfectly. Okay,
that's a beautiful picture right there. When you think about it, that's what it has to look like. But every time they show us a supposed picture of the Earth, there's not a satellite to be seen.
No, it's all over the place. And then some think about this. A geostationary satellite is one that stays over the same point of land. Okay. Right. So let's pretend this guy right here is geostationary. He has to stay right above this piece of land below it. Okay. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. So it's got to mimic that spin from its far distance away. The Earth is chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, orbiting sideways at 66,000 miles an hour. So it has to mimic those motions also to remain over that piece of land. And anybody that believes that that's a possibility isn't thinking. Sometimes when they show us the moon transiting the Earth, and they say the satellite that filmed that is in a Lagrange point, right? What the heck is a Lagrange point? Lagrange point is how do I get out of here? The Lagrange point is a space in between the Earth and the sun where it's just at that where both gravities hold it in the same position, right? Mm-hmm. right? But all of these spirals are going on, and somehow it remains in that same relationship to the sun, even though the Earth is orbiting the sun. 6 months later, it's on the other side of the sun, but somehow it finds that Lagrange point. That's like getting two magnets and a metal ball and trying to hold the metal ball in between the two magnets so neither magnet pulls it away. Nonsense.
So M asks, are satellites BS too?
100%.
100%.
Satellites are balloons, right? If you look up pictures of satellites, this is what you get. Cartoons. Google satellite in space. There's not a single picture of a satellite in space. They can't even fake it. They're so bad at it. Satellites are balloons. If I was on Zoom, I could show you a video of it, but I'm not. So let me get out. I'll get out of here now. Here's another one. You know what I call this? The ceiling fan satellite. Okay, it's a ceiling fan. This is a picture. Like, who took the picture first? Okay, they happen to have another satellite near that satellite that got a picture of it with perfect Jupiter in the background.
But nobody asked that question.
Nobody asked. Nobody cares. It's the dumbest. Globe Earth is so dumb that when you see it, you're embarrassed that you ever believed it. But I get it. We were all brainwashed. When there's people that can't see it, I kind of lose a little bit of respect, or maybe a lot of respect for them. It's unbelievable how ridiculous this is, how ridiculous it all is. Hey, when you're using the app, and the most important picture, if you like, when you're talking, the app is great for, like, I'm talking to you, like I'm talking to someone outside, or we're at a bar or whatever, and you're talking flat Earth. You got all these resources at your fingertips, but the most important one is the top left. You say, point your camera at that, okay? And they take their phone, they point the camera on it. Now they got the app. Now you get them to take the challenge, and then they become flat earthers, and they start doing the same thing too. So this app is waking up tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We're going to go into the millions, and we're gonna change this thing. Flat Earth. Here, why am I talking about flat Earth now? When when there's all this insanity going on in the world, and the answer is because I can't find the way out of there it is. Where am I?
Just stop share. Do you have that meme that you created that said that it shows? Well, we can't show it on YouTube anyway. It shows all the globes that we're being deceived by. All the things that are globular. We can't show it here on YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
The one that shows all the globes and all of these cartoon things that begin with a V.
Yes.
Yeah, they're controlling our minds with cartoons.
Isn't it odd that the cartoon that starts with a V is a globe? Isn't that amazing?
100%. I cannot find my StreamYard window. It's somewhere in here. There it is.
You're right there with us.
Oh, I moved it. There it is. I brought it down low. Here I am. Okay. So where was I? Where are we going?
I don't know, Dave.
So I was saying for people, if you're a flat earther, talk flat Earth. It's time not to be quiet anymore. If you have a belief in something,
how do you recommend people start a conversation about flat Earth?
You gotta. It's different for everybody.
Thank you,
take it
Willie,
slow.
for the $2 tip.
Yeah,
sorry.
You take it slow, and you say,
I'm at a bar, Dave. We're having a few beers.
Yeah.
And how do I start a conversation with my new friend here that I've known for 15 minutes?
You say, have you heard about this flat Earth thing? It's kind of crazy, right? And they're like, well, yeah, I heard it. What it's turning out now, you're going to say that, they're going to go, yeah, the Earth is flat. Do you know that? Right? Because I went to a rally the other day. There was 30, 40 people there. Half of them were flat earthers. It was amazing. So it's happening. But you bring it up and you ask a question. You go, I saw this video the other day, and just show them, a short video and say, what do you think about that? And it gets them thinking. It gets, and they're like, hey, if I was to ask you, what's the best proof you have of a globe? This guy's offering 2 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe.
Ooh,
what do you got?
Beautiful one.
Yeah. You throw that one out, and then they go, well, photos of Earth. And you break out the app and you break up the photos, and you go, yeah, NASA even says these aren't real. Yeah, we need something better. Well, what about ships over the horizon? And you break out the ships over the horizon, you hit the ships over the horizon button, and you show them the video how that's not what's happening. It's angular resolution. And you just do it that way. It's best to ask a question rather than to tell them, because you ask a question, it sucks them in more and more. So it's easy. It's easy once you get there, and once you know where all the resources are, and they're all in the palm of your hand with the app.
That app is a beautiful thing. It really is.
Jeff, what's amazing is I had a vision for this app, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I keep making it better. I'm going to tell you a new feature that I'm adding. This is going to be the best. You're going to love this.
I'm going to have to refresh my app.
Yeah. But so they're actually, for everyone that's listening, the weather hasn't been working because Yahoo shut down their weather API, but there's a new weather API that's on the app now. Just update your app and everything will come back. But so the app kind of started evolving and getting better and better. It's the highest rated app in the App Store. It's like there's no higher rated app. I mean, there's some apps that are new that have like 5 ratings, they're all 5 stars. Any app that has over 100 ratings, I have the highest rated app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. People friggin' love it. Just read the reviews. I tell people, read the reviews. So this is what I'm adding. So one of the pages in there is going to be a flat map of the world, Google map of the world. And it's going to show you, for anyone that opted in on their app, you can turn on, you can say show location or don't show location. It will show you where all of the other app users are in the world. And then you can zoom into your area and you could say, anytime somebody comes within 1,000 feet of me that has this app and has it turned on, buzz me. Okay. Whoa. And so you're like, and the way I got this idea, I've been thinking about it for a while. Paige and I were at this, we went to the spa and we're talking to the young kids at the front. And I somehow brought up flat Earth, and the girl goes, "Oh yeah, the Earth is flat. I know that." And I go, "Really?" And she's telling me all about it. And she goes, "Yeah, I looked into it. The Earth is flat." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm looking into it too." And so I gave them both the app, and I go, "Does your boss know that you're a flat earther?" I'm friends with her boss. I met her at a flat Earth meeting, right? She goes, "Oh, no, she doesn't know." I go, "You should tell her because she's a flat earther." And she could say, "No way." So if you had the app,
Dave, did you get a mani-pedi?
No, I got a hydro massage. Greatest thing ever.
Nice.
Yeah, you lay on this bed and power washers are blowing up on the back. Amazing, mind blowing. Hot water, crazy, and you stay dry.
I like.
So if she had the app every day, she's like, every day when my boss comes in, this thing buzzes. Then she's gonna know her boss is a flat earther. Right? There's somebody in this building. They're like you live in an apartment building. You're like, my neighbor is a flat earther. My next door neighbor is a flat earther. You can figure it out. And then there'll be a messaging on there where you can tap it and send them a message like, "Hey, I'm so-and-so, meet me at Starbucks," or, "Hey, I'm at the corner of the bar. I see that you're in this bar. Also, come say hello." Amazing, right?
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're starting the development, and the next it should be ready in less than a month. Less than a month.
So, David, why are you so passionate about this flat Earth subject?
I'm going to tell you why, Jeff. Because there's a little bit of tyranny going on in the world. Wouldn't you agree? And
just a tiny bit.
Tiny bit, and we're literally on the edge of communism and idiocracy, and there's a chance that if people wake up, we can get our freedom back. But the question is, let's say something happens and we do get our freedom back. How long can we hold on to it if we're spinning out of control, lost in space, don't know who we are, don't know what we are, where we are, don't know the power of our own thoughts, but the rat bastards that are running this place, they know how this world works. They know the secret knowledge. They know all of this hidden information. Well, until we know where we are, we're never going to figure this place out. If you're spinning out of control, lost in space, where an asteroid's going to take you out at any moment, a solar flare is going to blow you up, nuclear bombs. If you're living in fear, you're never going to pull it together. You're never going to become who you really should be. We're supposed to be here figuring this place out, expanding the mind of the creator. Okay, that's it. Whoever the creator is, that's your personal journey. Whether you think it's just us, we're the creator, whatever you want to, that's none of my business. But this place is intelligently designed. You can agree with that, right?
Absolutely.
It's intelligently designed. Okay. We're here at the center of creation. We're here having this experience. We chose to be here right now. So, craziest last, 15, 18 months, best 15, 18 months. I've been having a great time. The world's insane.
Been the best year of my life.
It's been amazing. And it's not me to say it should be any different. I'm doing my best to help people see. I walked away from my own company. You know this. I had the American dream. I worked in corporate America, and then I left and I started my own company, and I was the CEO of my own company. Amazing. Making more money than I ever thought I could make. And I walked away from it all, Jeff, because I said, none of that's going to matter if we go into full-blown communism in this totalitarian, transhumanistic, post-human world. I'm not up with that. So I woke people up to the thing that happened in New York, Connecticut, at the marathon, and people just go right back to sleep after you show them that stuff, right? But you show them this stuff, you never forget it, because this affects every single person every single day. The way the analogy I look is, was it you that told me that somebody in or maybe it was a previous show, they said they took a survey in Afghanistan a couple of years ago of about New York and 9/11, and like 90% of the people never even heard about it.
Wow.
Okay. Never even heard that didn't know anything about it. Nothing. Right. So, I say, if you live in, where do you live in? Kansas?
I do.
Okay. So if you had a restaurant in Kansas, would putting a billboard in Hawaii be a good idea for your restaurant?
Probably not.
All right. How about Africa?
No, probably not.
There's probably a 10-mile radius where that's where you would be looking to put a billboard, right?
Absolutely.
So your restaurant only affects a small radius of people, right? Flat Earth. Where would a bad billboard be? Billboards you price billboards on the number of eyeballs that see them. So, something in a rural area is less expensive than something in a metropolitan area. Where would a bad billboard be for a flat Earth? The answer is every single billboard is perfect. Everywhere, anywhere on the earth. As long as eyeballs are seeing it, it's a perfect spot for a flat Earth message. So this is the biggest thing ever. This is the biggest topic of our time. This is the most important topic. People go, flat Earth is just a distraction from the real problems of the world. I'm like, no, the real problems of the world are the distraction from flat Earth. Because if we figure out who we are, what we are, and that nobody has dominion over us, it's over. The only power the elite have over you is in your imagination, period.
Wow. And if you want to get control of your mind, even if you study, look into the app, take the challenge, because even if you decide at the end of the 10 days that you do live on a spinning ball, which you won't, just that exercise of opening your mind and saying, okay, look, I'm willing to think outside my box. I'm willing to consider new truths. Just that will be well worth the few shekels that David gets for that app, and it'll change your life.
It's $3, one-time charge. It's a half a beer. It's a half a Starbucks coffee, and you don't pee it away in 20 minutes. You have it forever.
$3?
$3, $2.99. It's $3.
Crazy.
People say it's worth $50. People said they would pay anything for it. But here's the thing. People said, hey, Dave, when I first made it, Dave, can you add this? This is great. And I had all these great ideas, but they all cost money. So I said, I can't fund it. And they said, put a donation button on it. I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. So I went to put a donation button on it, and Apple and Android, Google Play say, nope, no donation buttons. So I put a subscribe button on there. Would you like to subscribe for 99 cents or $11 for the year? It pops up and there's no ads, and you can exit out the second it comes up. And it only shows up once a day. So it pops up, shut it down. Now you got the app for the whole day. The next day, open up the app. It pops up, turn it off, and you still get everything. But it's a donation button. Do not subscribe unless every day you wake up and you grab your phone to look at the video before you take a pee. If that's the case, then I deserve the subscription.
Exactly.
If it's after you pee, then you don't have to subscribe.
So, Dave, what's coming up exciting around the flat Earth?
Across the flat Earth plane. Yeah, we're going into the summer. We're at the height of summer right now. I love the summer. I spend a lot of time on the water. Water lays flat. I have the Flat Earth Yacht Club, which we hang out at. What's that?
It's always flat.
It's always flat. Unless it's windy, then you get some waves and stuff. And And the whole story about where waves come from, it's not from the wind pushing the water. It's from the electricity in the air, and the amplitude of the electricity makes the waves get bigger. What's coming up? Flattoberfest. I'm going to a music festival on the beach, which we go to every year. They didn't have it last year because of the nonsense. And there's like 40,000 people on the beach. And I'm bringing these nylon discs, the nylon Frisbee discs that you can throw, and they go all over the place, and they're super light. And I'm getting a couple thousand of them. And it says on it, Earth is flat, but not like this disc. And then there'll be a QR code for the app. What do you think? Brilliant. And I'm going to throw thousands of them into the air, into the crowd at the same time.
That's going to be a great time. Are you going to have some friends helping you throw those thousands?
I'm going to film it. I did it last year, not when we went last time. I was one of the vendors. They're like, here, take some frisbees. I said, can I take a whole bunch of them? They're like, take as many as you want. So I took like 200. Right. and I'm standing there, and during the concert's going, everyone's going crazy. And I threw like 10, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I threw 20 at a time, and I just threw them all, and they went into the crowd, and then everyone picks them up and throws them again. And so the crowd literally looked like a popcorn machine. It was insane. And that was only like 200. I'm going to go for like 3,000.
This is going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's just going to be fun. And we'll see. It's going to have a unique QR code. We'll see if enough people buy the app to pay for the stunt.
Well, it'll definitely be worth it, and you got to video that.
Oh, I'm going to have it videoed from all different. So many people are going to video it. It's going to be great.
Now, David, tell people where they can get more information about you, and I know that you do a Flat Earth podcast. Let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, so we haven't done a lot of episodes of the Flat Earth Podcast just because life has been a little crazy and a little busy. But the flatearthpodcast.com on SoundCloud, on Apple Music, the Apple Podcast, the Flat Earth Podcast. It doesn't start from the beginning. They're all good. I'll give you the challenge there. Listen to 10 episodes, and you too will lose the respect of your family and friends because you'll be a flat earther. The flatearthpodcast.com has all my links. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Instagram, Facebook, the same name, the Flat Earth Podcast. And that's easy. That you'll find it all there. And then my YouTube channel is DITRH. It's the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH.
Excellent. And your time will be well spent. Trust me, from a guy that thought it was the stupidest thing that he'd ever heard of to a guy now that no longer believes that we're living on a spinning ball. It's a great journey. It's a fun journey. And there's nothing like trusting yourself and your powers of observation and intuition rather than some guy that's in a coat.
They've convinced us to trade in our common sense for nonsense. And Jeff, everyone has the same journey. Flat Earth, that's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, I'm going to refuse to look. But then someone like me, someone like you, convinces them to take a look. Don't Google Flat Earth because you're going to end up at their websites. Flat Earth Society, nonsense. Never go there because it's a government-run website to trap your mind. And once you start seeing it, and the best way is the app. 500 hours of research will give you 2 hours of good content, but 500 hours of research on the app will give you 600 hours of content, if that's possible.
Let's wrap up with this, David. You said something. You just said we've traded in. What did you say about we've traded in something?
We've traded in our common sense for nonsense.
And once you've traded in your common sense for nonsense, you're much more willing to trade freedom for so-called security.
Correct. That's all of this is about this. No flat earther is succumbing to any of this. Of all the nonsense that's going on, I'm just going to call it nonsense. They're all awake to it. Once you see this, you wake up and you take your power back. This is about taking our power back. They're about taking our power away. Okay. And it's up to us to give it to them. And people are willingly giving it to them. They're being tricked into giving it away. But you have the right to keep it. They don't have the right to take it. They know that. You don't know it. That's the problem.
Absolutely. David, I appreciate you being with us. Give my best to Paige. We'll see you in September, and hopefully we can get together again before that.
I think it's October, isn't it?
Is it October?
I think it's
I thought you said it
October.
was September. Well, it's called Flattoberfest. So it's probably in October, I'm guessing.
Oktoberfest. Yeah, it's in October.
Okay.
All right, we will see you on the
Does
other
Paige
side.
go to that?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Excellent.
We drive down. We have a great time.
Yeah, Cynthia and I will head out there, and we'll have some beverages together and enjoy a good time.
All right, thanks, Ben. See you, everybody.
Take care, David. My pleasure.
All right.
David Weiss, ladies and gentlemen, deep inside the rabbit hole. What a great, great guest. What a great, great time. And it's just fun. It's just fun to talk about this stuff. And the thing about it is that you don't even have to believe it, but you have to open your mind to it. You've got to open your mind to it. That was David Weiss. Again, deep inside the rabbit hole. And I know that you might have come here thinking, oh, this is dumb. This is stupid. This is ridiculous. But now you're pondering a little bit. You're saying, what about these guys? Why don't you prove us wrong? Why don't you prove David wrong? Why don't you go and look and just see what happens? Just see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, you're listening to Late Night in the Heartland.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock App, a dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 1212 or 24-hour clock face, or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. And clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.